All right, everybody. I'm back at my cold air intake on my Chevy Sonic. I'm gonna call it. Let's see if you can see it. An epic fail. Check engine light came on the very next day. It was running rough, and then I realized what I did. So right now, when you drive it, it surges. It's going rich, lean. I'm getting lean faults. And just to verify the running lean, I have my scan tool here. So I'm checking my mass airflow sensor right now, and it is showing 0.1718 pounds per minute at idle, and about 100 degrees intake air temperature. I think the mass airflow and intake air temperature sensor are all in one sensor. So getting a little heat soak. So technically it's a hot air intake in the summer, and then it'll be a cold air intake fall, winter, and spring. So unless I build a box around it, it's gonna continue to be a hot air intake for the summer. But in any way, it's an epic fail. Just thought I'd give you guys an update. So I got a 3-inch pipe with a mass airflow sensor going in there, and the stock pipe is much smaller where the mass airflow sensor goes. So right now I'm gonna check my numbers. I'm getting we'll call it 0.1 or 0.7 to 0.2 pounds per minute on the mass airflow sensor with that modified intake. And now I'm going to turn off the car, swap out the mass airflow sensor, put everything back together with the stock intake, and just to verify that is the issue, I want to see what the mass airflow sensor reading goes up to, because right now it's low. So the car is reading lean. So sit tight and let's double check what this mass airflow says after I swap everything out. Here's the cold air intake I built a couple days ago. Right now we're gonna take it back out, swap that mass airflow sensor in back into the stock intake, put the stock air intake back on, and see what that mass airflow sensor number says again. I'm guessing it's going to be normal because it ran perfect. So my problem is this pipe is probably going to be way too big, and the velocity going past the mass airflow sensor is less. The air velocity is less because the pipe is bigger. And if you look at this stock mass airflow sensor housing, it is substantially smaller. Probably it should be a 2.5 inch, whereas the intake I built is a 3 inch. So oops. We'll see what it does. Let's find out. All right, we got it back out. Pretty simple, just loosen up the one clamp. And now I'm gonna swap the mass airflow sensor back into the original air box, and then we'll run it and check that scan tool again. All right, I got it in there. We connect the mass airflow again. Let's start it up, and I'm gonna clear the faults and then look at the mass airflow sensor. All right. Erase the clones. All right, code is erased. Now let's look at the live data. Scroll down. Okay. Intake air temp. Yeah, it's about the same. It was 100 before. That's probably from the heat soak and the aluminum. And now the mass airflow is reading 0.28, 0.3. So that definitely confirms that number went up because we put the factory mass airflow back into the factory mass airflow housing. So now this computer is tuned for that specific size mass airflow sensor tube, and it is definitely higher. It was reading let's see, was it 0.7? What the heck was it now? I forgot. But that definitely confirms that that pipe was too big. Alright, so I'm revving it now. It's not surging and triggering any fault codes. It was reading, I'm sorry, I said 0.7, I meant 0.17. So it's definitely reading more pounds per minute because there's higher velocity airflow going through that 2.5 inch mass airflow. So that confirms it, but we'll call it a fail on the intake itself. But I'm not done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sacrifice this air box because I could care less about it anyway. I'm just going to cut the mass airflow plastic housing right off the air intake, and then modify my little elbow without that mass airflow to utilize the filter, which I can't use that filter because that's a 3-inch filter. I need a 2.5. So I can either start over and just get a 2.5-inch pipe and then weld on a 2.5-inch bung or weld on flange, or I can just salvage what I have on the intake I made and just cut it off here and get one more reducer, 3-inch to 2.5. I think I already have 2-inch couplers, so I already have that. So we could salvage that, use that mass airflow, and or use the factory mass airflow housing with the aluminum pipe, and then I'll just have to get a new filter for a 2.5-inch pipe. But otherwise, don't do what I did. Make sure you match the pipe. Make sure you're matching your pipe to what the mass airflow pipe is, because that is the downfall on this. If you go too big, it'll read lean. If you go too small, it'll read rich. It read such a big difference that the computer couldn't compensate for it, and it was just surging. It was taking fuel away. It was adding fuel, taking fuel away, because the mass airflow sensor was telling the computer it was running. There wasn't enough air going through it, so it was pulling back the fuel. And then the oxygen sensor kicks in and say, hey, we're lean, we don't have enough fuel. And then it's adding more fuel, and then the mass airflow is saying, hey, why are you adding more fuel? We don't have enough air. And boom, it's a back and forth cycle, and it was surging up until about 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. But that's it. So hopefully, my videos are edited, or not edited, I should say. So you're getting pretty much everything I'm doing. No one's editing my videos. So when I do good, you see them. When I do bad, you see them. And this one definitely was bad. This was a mess up on my part. I should have known better. I bought 3-inch intercooler piping, and I just wanted to use it. Should have known better, but next time, if you're doing this on a different project, or this current, or if you have a Sonic like this 1.8, then just match the pipe to your mass airflow and you'll have no problems. All right, guys, until next time.